Live and Facebook Live from IDEP Foundation account. So it is a special pleasure to welcome everyone as a speaker and responder to this 1.5 hour forum that is happening in virtual format, exploring a topic that is happening today in the entire world, not only in Bali or even in Indonesia, Covid-19 pandemic. It is our common interest to try and better understand how it is and what we can do something together as an expats, local, and from government side. Before I'll introduce you to our guest, let me share a reason. Before I introduce you to our guest, let me share you a reason why IDEP is calling on expats to step up to give up opinion on this issue. Since we are not flatten the curve, indeed for many people this pandemic is only getting started, and for some of it it's getting worse again. In Bali, we have in total of 85,000 positive case, and 69 and 377 97 have recovered, and 2,116 people passed away. And this is the kind of nightmare scenario, and the scenario have left us unprepared. And from this, we cannot sleep well, and we need unprecedented action, and it is needed now. Now I have to introduce you to our speaker and responder today. First, we have Mr. Charlie Knowles. I hope I pronounce your name right. As an expat patron in Bali, he's also experienced in a variety of fields, including advertising, agricultural development, technology, investment, and business consulting. Hello, Pak. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for that nice introduction.
Yes, you're welcome. Now I love to introduce you to our second speaker, Miss Kadik Anna, as young expat in Bali. She's been here for almost 10 years. She's also a Balinese dancer, a singer, and I think she can speak Indonesian fluently. Hi, Miss Anna. How are you?
Hi, for inviting me.
Yeah.
Good.
And then the last one but not the least, we also have Mr. Ari Rukmantra. Mr. Ari Rukmantra will be our responder for today's webinar. He is currently seconded to the Indonesian government's public communication team in response to pandemic COVID-19. He is also a member of Indonesia Country Management Team for UNICEF Indonesia Country Office. Halo Pak Ari, apa kabar?
Halo, Om Swastiastu.
Om Swastiastu.
Salam sehat semuanya.
Salam sehat. Okay, now without further ado, we will turn the time over to Pak Rangga as a DRR manager of IDEP Foundation to make a quick opening speech. Over to you, Pak.
Thank you, David. Maybe I use your microphone, it's okay, yeah? Thank you.
Aku mute, ya.
Okay.
I'll mute, ya.
Okay. Better use your microphone. Open.
Okay.
Microphone. Thank you. It's very nice to see you all in this evening. My name is Rangga. I'm with IDEP for DRR Manager, Disaster Risk Reduction, and this is our first webinar on COVID-19. But for COVID response, actually, IDEP already started since the first time that Indonesia declared it as pandemic COVID-19 last March 2020. We give more aid to local community that need the most through family bucket, and then we also train more mothers on permaculture. It's one of our base method on agriculture and also post production. And now, based on the pentahelix concept, that the disaster response should also join from others on from all stakeholders in the community. We very much welcome to you as expat to share your opinion. And also, this is one of the recent jargon on community resilience, that no one will be behind, no one left behind. So we would like to ask the expat community to also join with this fight with the pandemic COVID-19, and together with others community, I think we can survive from this pandemic. And thank you again. Please enjoy your webinar with Dewi.
Okay, thank you, Parangga, for the opening. Now, let us answer to the main event. I'd like to welcome Ms. Anna for the first speaker. Ms. Anna will give her opinion and thoughts regarding COVID-19 response in Bali. Over to you.
Thank you. First thing I want to say about expats in Bali, I have like only one thought, is that expats who is supporting wellness culture and nature and people, nice if government can support them as well by paperwork, for example, or make some certain visa. Like, the Sungai Watch, the guy who started, he is expat. His name is Gary. So he needs Jokowi, it's cleaning, it's an amazing organization. But I don't know. I don't ask him about like his documental status, but I don't think it's any like government support with papers for people like this, or people who try to promote traditional culture or work in this way like me. I tried to reach yesterday the Ministry of Culture. I called them. And in the end, they sent me to the governor's office. So, like this, I cannot find yet the person who is responsible for promoting a wellness culture to like wonderful Indonesia, like for the foreigners or for local people. I cannot find yet, and it's very sad. Nice if we can collaborate and work together and create something interesting in this case. But okay, let's come back to the COVID situation in Bali. It's been really painful for everybody, and people been not enough supported by government. Because I always talking with people everywhere, talk with Balinese people, how they live and what they're doing. And lots of people, they say, my family lives in a village and my kid eat only noodles. So, and he cannot send money, and this situation being created, and it's not balanced. That's the problem. That's why people have to survive. They have to just, we have to learn to live with COVID, because now everyone talks about vaccination, but nice if we talk about how to heal people who have COVID, and how to treat people. So, and how, like, I can see a lot of people on the street asking for money on the crossroads. It's kids. And kids is our future. So this is our future. And this is not okay to send your kids to ask for money, because it's the only way, families, they're trying to survive from villages. And nice if police, or I don't know which department, will find their parents, and government can help them to pay for kids' education, or just put them in school at least. Because from mentality of the kid growing up, making money on a crossroads is not okay. So it's very important to educate people in the village about culture, hygiene, and natural farming, simple things. So in COVID time and not in COVID time, because obviously not so many people going to the villages. I've been volunteering there, and volunteering in Indonesia, it's illegal. I've been teaching kids Balinese dance for 3 years in Petak village in Yayasan. And yeah, so they have lice, they have no food, and then parents trying to survive as well. So it's really hard life in there. And fathers working on construction, and and it's not teachers for traditional dance or gamelan in the villages. And now it's more worse, and like only the products people get, it's rice, noodles, eggs, oil. Okay, noodles don't have any vitamins in there. So maybe we should even supply products that more, some more vitamins and nutrition in there. So we can at least start to educate about like more healthier foods for people, so they can be healthier and they not get sick so easy. So is the solution of the problem, we gotta go to the root of the problem, where it's coming from. People get sick because they are weak, because they don't have enough health for that, because they eat not good food. And good food, it's organic food without chemicals involved. And it's a lot of people who do organic farming, and nice to collaborate and bring this education. And collaborate, I talk about the government and all these associations and all the people together. It's like a big waves, because if you do little bit, it's not really effective. So yeah, that's the most important, because Bali is a very special place, and the Balinese philosophy based on three, right? About balance with the nature, balance with people, and balance with spiritual world. And now we off all of these balances. So my basic of beliefs in Bali, especially, is culture, nature, and religion. They go together. Why? Because religion is help you to connect with divine. So you feel compassion to the people around you, to the nature, and everything what's alive around you. And traditional culture, I talk about traditional culture, it makes you connect with divine. So you feel the same feelings. So it's all serving the nature. We lost our compassion to each other and to the habitat. And that's why it's very important to keep traditions going and not, enjoying TikToks and something else. So for me to help in situation in Bali, because people depended from tourism on 80%. This is too much. So we have to create sustainable life in Bali. It's already by the example with the Dutch people, what they got left, nothing. So we don't get education here. We don't get any technology here. We just got our land used, and they left. Same happening here with the tourism. People get them land used. And now it's no tourism. People have no money because it's a short-term money. Like, driver. So he drives, he gets salary, and he spends it for his needs, for his family. So, like long-term money, it's big money. It's going to other people's pockets. So, to create sustainability in Bali. It's by the natural farming and by supporting the culture, right? So you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask?
Okay.
Bailey? Or you on mute?
Oh yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for beautiful opinion. What I can conclude is that you are concerned about the increasing poverty during this pandemic, especially even the awareness about sanitation and education is still low, and especially in like a rural area in Bali. And maybe here, Ari also can respond how government can help their daily needs or also create sustainable economy through whatever program that the government have.
Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry, just one more thing.
Sure.
So, like people now they're controlling if people use masks or not. It's so tough. Like we're under control. So it's nice if police or I don't know who control the same way of burning trash. In Bali, it's illegal by the law, burning trash in Bali. And people mix trash and they burn together with plastic trash that is really bad for your health. And no one knows about it. I have to talk with my neighbors for like 5 years already. They're still doing this. So it's really bad for you. You can get cancer, it's a poison. And people still do this, and no one checked for this. You can charge people officially like 500,000, but no one checked on this. And one more thing, in Bali, no one checked that people build houses in the rice fields, and this is illegal too. So, but the mask thing, it's not in the law. Nice if we correct the ways already set. That's good, for everyone, at least, because we can do this. We can. And educate people. Nice to put maybe poster, not something, candidate, or maybe candidate can put poster like, burn trash is bad, you can get cancer and your family. Something like this. It's just information that is important.
Yeah.
Just be like more aware of the little details around us. Not wasting water, not wasting like everything like this. Treat the nature and humans and everything, life around us, with this sensitive treasureness feeling. So it starts from ourselves, if we gotta clean ourselves, clean things around ourselves, and eat good food and try to think positive. Just the quality of life. It's really important, especially for people in Indonesia, because they don't have this education. They live with a mushroom in a room, and they think it's okay. It's not okay. It's bad for them. So this kind of things, small things. Okay, sorry, Paris.
Thank you so much for the opinion and thoughts from Ms. Karikana. Now, maybe we can move forward, and I would love to welcome Mr. Charlie to deliver your opinion also about COVID-19 response in Bali, what you feel, and from before pandemic and after pandemic, what's the difference, and then how you can see as expat in Bali about the response from the government, locals, and expat itself. Over to you, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll go through the questions that you sent to me, and I'll just try to arrange my thoughts that way so I can keep concise. Thank you again also for inviting me to speak. I really appreciate the time that you've all given to me here. So the first question you asked was, what was my experience during the 2 years of the COVID-19 situation, before and after? Well, before COVID-19, I'd say my life in Bali felt like absolute heaven and fantastic, and everything felt perfect. And then, of course, COVID-19 came along and threw a big spanner in the machinery. And I was, my family and I, we all actually all caught COVID last year, so we got quite sick from that. And luckily, of course, here I am, so we recovered. But it was a difficult period, and we had people around us in our village here, some of our staff who I think caught COVID. They didn't get tested, but I think they caught COVID too. So I have seen it around and had personal experience with it, and I've had several friends, about maybe 30, 40 friends here who have caught COVID, and some of them had mild symptoms, some of them got quite sick, so a quite wide range there. So it's been a challenging year, I think, for everyone, including expats here. You also asked what I thought about the handling of COVID-19 and what the government's done. Honestly, my opinion is I'm quite impressed. I think that overall the handling has been very good. I mean, compared to my home country is Australia, and I think my government has done a terrible job handling it, whereas I think that the Balinese government has done a much better job, particularly with vaccination. Now that we see people getting up to the numbers getting up to 70, 80% vaccination rate for first dose, I think that's fantastic. It's amazing compared to Australia, where it's only at 16%. And I think that although there has been some challenges and not every step has been taken perfectly, overall I think it's been quite impressive. I've seen the community really band together, and in my own community of friends, we've all tried to step up and help as much as we can. We've in the last year and a half, we've organised food drives and tried to get food to people who needed food in the early stages when people were very impacted by having no money because they'd lost their jobs, and tried to help as many people around us as we can in a variety of ways, fundraisers and help donating to charities and so on, and also just being here and trying to help on a human level. So I've really seen communities come together very strongly, and that's been quite inspiring in a difficult time, to see that way people can come together like that. Now, for the future, I think there's several different things that productive criticism or suggestions that I could make that might help us to kind of get past this difficult period right now. One thing I'd really like to address is the difficulty that many people, particularly expats, but also some Indonesians who live here who are not Balinese, the difficulty that they've had getting access to vaccines. That's been a big challenge. If you're not on the right visa and have the right paperwork, that's been a very, very difficult thing. And at different times, there's been more availability. And then certain sites will be very open to vaccinating foreigners, and then all of a sudden those sites will stop, and there's not really any announcement about it, and then everyone's having difficulty getting access to that. That's been a big challenge. And it's also been a challenge for Indonesians who are here in Bali, who are not Balinese, because they don't have the right paperwork to get access to it. So if I could make a suggestion, that would be my number one suggestion, is to drop those barriers and allow people who want to get access to vaccination to get it. And I know that there's different opinions about it, particularly in the expat community. Some people are not into vaccines, but for those who are, it's been a difficult time. I was fortunate enough to get vaccinated myself, and my wife's been vaccinated as well. But many people I know have not been able to, and they desperately want to. So that's been another area that I've been trying to help people, is to try to help them get access. I actually run a message group on Telegram just devoted to that, just helping people find and get over the barriers to get vaccination, and find the sites and figure out what paperwork they need at each different site. And it's all different at different sites. And that's been for both Westerners, for foreigners, and also for people from Indonesians from outside of Bali. So I think dropping those requirements or allowing more people to get access to that would be a huge help. And then beyond that, I think that the other part of recovery, in addition to recovering just from the actual pandemic itself and getting us to the point where where the infection isn't happening everywhere, is the economic recovery. And so, I'm not telling you anything new when I say the economy is totally, devastated here, and there's opportunities, I think, for the expat community who are here right now to be more engaged and to help more. But once again, there are bureaucratic impediments in the path. I think this is very much what Anna was talking about before as well. These sort of and again, I want to emphasize that everyone's very thankful for the way the government has stepped up and extended visas and given people extended stays here and allowed people to stay for longer than they would have been allowed to stay. It's been wonderful. But there are a lot of people who would like to get involved in volunteering, for helping rebuild the economy and to help get engaged. We're having great difficulty doing that because of bureaucratic paperwork. And there's a wide range of skills here, some of the ones that Katakana was speaking about before, and but many more, the wide range of skills represented in the expat community, and many people just really would like to be involved and to help as much as they can, but they can't because of those prohibitions against doing that. So I think that if there is one thing that people could take away from my talk, is just that there's a community here who are willing to help, who are willing to step up, and who want to get vaccinated, to help with the healthcare situation, to help bring in medical supplies for hospitals that need medical supplies to help rebuild the economy, and it's difficult because of these bureaucratic impediments in the path and the necessary paperwork to do those things. So that would be my biggest request if people are hearing this, from the government or any sort of official organizations.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Charlie. There was a wonderful opinion and thoughts. Especially when you say you love to help people, especially locals, to rebuild the economy here in Bali, even though the constraint is the difficulty for the permit to live in Indonesia. It is one of the challenge as well, and it is also very trying to give donation through food, fundraising and donation is like a huge help for us, and very thank you for that, and also for mentioning that getting vaccine here in Bali, especially for non-Balinese locals and even in Indonesian that is not from Bali and expats, is difficult. And maybe we should make that as a concern for today. Okay, so we have here, hello, Miss, who is it? Okay, so we have Mr. Daud Puji Raharjo here, and also Miss Brenda Richmond and Georgiana Oh in Facebook. Welcome. Welcome to our webinar. And then, okay, let us continue. Also, now let's move to our responder, Pak Ari. Thank you so much for being here. After hearing two opinions from Miss Anna and Mr. Charlie, maybe you can respond as a responder about what is actually happening and what government already do and what are we going to do for the next period of time. Over to you, Pak. Thank you.
Suara kecil. Good.
I'm sorry, Pa. Your voice is a bit
Right.
small.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Alright, so again, this is a very privileged, good opportunity, a special opportunity for me to meet these exceptional individuals here. Charlie and Anna, Kadek Anna, thank you for your contribution to Bali people, especially children. As as you know, I'm working actually for children. I'm part of UNICEF, and I just assigned to help the government of Indonesia how to deal with pandemic due to my previous studies on pandemic preparedness. I did it with Ranga, and thank you Ranga and Awal for facilitating this discussion, because I asked them at this few weeks ago whether we can actually understand what is really going on in the minds of our foreign friends, yeah, the expats, the tourists, and those who love Bali and already actually stay in Bali. There are two reasons why we're doing this. First, from public communication point of view, we really need to know what is this specific target audience would like to hear and what is their concern, right? Because we believe that we cannot communicate with all people at the same time with the same message, because people have different backgrounds, right? People have different preferences. And basically, the most important thing is to clarify the reports, or I say myths and rumors that the expats in Bali do not act the same to COVID-19 as the people in Bali, right? And local Balinese. So I would like to divide my comment to three parts, right? First of all, to the poll or the survey results that IDEP has produced, right? So I look into it, and I guess I have to refer to it. First of all, this is a good finding for me to learn that basically the general feeling about COVID-19 among the expatriates in Bali, most of them, or 59 or 60, almost 60%, actually feel that COVID-19 is a real concern to public health. So again, that's the debunking of myth. And that's saying that the experts don't worry about, they do not worry about COVID-19, but they actually have the same concern, right? As local Balinese, because I think we know that this is new virus, new outbreak, new health threats, and we are just learning how to deal with it. And another finding that I like to pay attention to is this finding on the field whether your needs have been addressed during the pandemic in Bali. 74% said somewhat already addressed. Right? So I guess Charlie already highlighted that. I think it's not perfect, and we're not perfect. Indonesia is not perfect, but unfortunately, we cannot find reference of perfect country to simulate, right? On whether how their success in responding to COVID-19. Because if you refer to Taiwan, if you refer to New Zealand, right, Taiwan is now having difficulties in procuring vaccine, right? And New Zealand is way less people in New Zealand compared to Indonesia, and less island compared to Indonesia. So we cannot actually draw the same conclusion on what is the success of New Zealand and Taiwan have in responding to COVID. Um, that means that the Indonesian government and the Bali provincial government somehow have done what they can do, but I guess I have to explain that we are doing everything at the same time with the same people, right? Using the same amount of people. So if you are referring to health responses, from expanding hospital beds, hospital reference, restaurant reference hospitals, testing labs, and then recruiting more health workers. They are done by the same health, provincial health office and district health office, which is, if you accumulate all of them, they are not more than 500 people in catering the needs of 3.3 million people across Bali. And then suddenly you have peak in cases, then they have to acquire oxygen, right, and quadruple the supply of medicine, and they are also executed by the same people, right? Those health authorities. Yeah. So I think I'm not overreacting by saying that we are actually overwhelmed in doing a lot of things at the same time, but we have to do it anyway, right? We have to treat people at the same time, looking for oxygen, at the same time looking for new therapies, at the same time promoting what Anna said, how to prevent yourself, get yourself healthier, so you're not going to be one of the one who is going to be treated, right? So that's the challenge. The challenge is there are basic resources that have not been met by Indonesia before even pandemic comes, right? The comparison of health workers to Indonesian population is low. Right, so only 40, I think one doctor has to cater more than 100,000 people. Right, so and then our health system is not also not the best in the world, but we are fixing it by creating universal coverage system, especially at least in the province and the district. So again, I think this is valid. The response that 74.1% of the respondents said somewhat the Indonesian government, Bali government has done something, right? And the third is again another myth being debunked by the respondents. The question is, how at risk do you think you are to contract COVID-19? 55.6% said I feel some risk. So again, I have to say, I have to face my Balinese officials friends who come to me saying that the Bulays, the foreigners, they are not scared of COVID-19. No, they feel the same threat, but probably they are more equipped with knowledge, right, and information. So they know how to prevent it, they know how to protect themselves. They are, of course, well acquainted with hand washing. It's 150 years of practice, right? Especially in the developed world, they know hand washing, right? And water, clean water are mostly accessible in their countries. And I don't think they are a stranger of medical mass. They go to hospitals or ICUs in their countries. Medical masks are actually provided, and you are advised to use it, wear it in the hospitals, right? In a closed door setting. Yeah. And privacy, meaning keep your distance. You don't you don't open the risk of contact with each other. It's actually a common knowledge or common practice. Yeah. in several countries outside Indonesia. So I think the concern is the same, but the amount of information that Balinese or Indonesian have are different, right? So that's basically where we come in, asking for help from IDEP on how to make sure we also involve the expatriates in Bali or foreigners in Bali to one fill the gap in information and knowledge deficit. Yeah. So for us, telling people to wash hands, maybe we did it only in the last 10 years, right? Or at least in the last 15 years, but probably some of our friends already know that since they were born in their country, right? So we need them to also help us to share the stories to Balinese, saying, you know, there's nothing wrong with washing hands. Yeah, it's good, right? Because it's basically help you make your personal hygiene, protected all the time, right? So that's basically what we ask for from IDEP to help us finding ways to fill in the gap of knowledge by using what WHO said to all of us. We have to do it all. We have to do it together. So meaning together here, we cannot left behind our expatriate foreigners friends in Bali in the health promotion campaign. So we are actually asking for help from Kalik Ana, from Charlie, help us to reach out people in Bali, either they're local or they're foreigners, to make sure we do it all together, right? At least keeping our personal hygiene and what Anna said, environmental health, protected or on a good standard, right? So I'm going to go one by one from the point that Anna and Charlie has mentioned after addressing IDEP's findings. So it's a valid point for Kadek Anna to mention that the government needs more to deliver more support to people, especially those whose earnings are disturbed or disrupted by this pandemic, right? And again, I guess Kadek Anna already know the solution is. I think we, the central government, and even the UN, and also the Bali Provincial Administration, need to find a way to come up with alternative solution beside tourism. Yeah. So Kadek said the sustainable economy. Not only it means environmentally friendly for Bali, but also if something like this happen again or natural disaster happen, how do you keep yourself to be protected economically, right, in Bali, right? So unfortunately, Kadek will need some drastic changes, especially in the crew part, right? First, on how the backbone of economy from Bali should be. What is the real backbone? Is it agriculture or is it arts or other creative economies? And second is to also look into our fiscal decentralization policy, right? So the problem, the central government cannot just send parachute to Bali is because the fiscal decentralization said, you have your own money, you manage your own money, and then you actually can make sure the distribution of wealth in your own profits, right? So the problem is right now there is no source of income, right? If tourism is okay, then you have tourism, you have you have lots of money to be managed in Bali. But nowadays, there is no income, so there is nothing to be managed in Bali. So Bali Provincial Administration has has to think through about this fiscal decentralization policy, how to balance between local earnings and central government assistance. So do you have any comment on this?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you said the right thing. For Bali to be more sustainable, we have to change the priorities of the tourism. So, okay, first, no money, right? Because normally when we have tourism and we have money, but the biggest part of money going to Jakarta. So, Balinese people don't get it. So the only thing what mostly Balinese people get from tourism, it's a trash and pollution and more building. So no land anymore. We're losing our nature here. And for the solutions, for supporting local communities, for example, like resorts and hotels, especially owned by Jakarta people, the land and buildings, the profitable, who make a lot of money or decent money, they must be forced by government to make educational programs for local communities and support people from Java or from other islands too. So they create in area, they put people all together, so Balinese and Javanese too, maybe to support the families and give education for the traditional culture, because they killing the culture by this is all the resorts where you drink champagne. It's not for command from the rice field, it's for the foreigners. So people, they just give their land for use, and they don't get anything back, and they don't get any education back. And who come here, they just use this energy what people created by supporting the religion, and it's just certain atmosphere in here. I think everybody can say. So it's all supported by the traditions, and religion and culture, all the traditional things in Bali that going to be lost, and it's not anymore that appreciated and understood like before. It's just going. It's taken for granted. So this must, I think they have to be pushed to support locals in this kind of way. So it's gonna be, they're gonna put back, because no one put back. They just take, they're the payer, but they take and no one put back. Because they have to be keeping the balance. Balance is the most important thing everywhere. And we need to change our tourism, because I'm sorry, all this 10 million tourists, it's not good. It's little islands with the small roads and the sweetest people, and it's going now like a wholesale, and people with less money coming. It's cheap now, it's fast like this, and it's a lot of pollution and these buses, and it's just wrong. So nice, and for a lot of people coming, to go party, go to the beach. It's nice to push the tourism in the side of traditions, in the side of the culture. So you can make educational programs for some foreigners who would like to, join for the Balinese culture, or you can even bring like some Jogja culture, some from different islands to Bali, to make it more like a colorful and acceptable to other cultures of Indonesia, because it's all amazing. But of course, like, we concentrate on the mainness of Balinese culture because it's so unique. That's why everybody wanna come here, right? So we can promote this and pay to the people who like traditional dancers, or who play gamelan and who do all these traditional things pay them more. You know, people in the Good Palace, the dancers, they get like 150,000 for performance. You have to learn this from your childhood. It's how many years of practice, how much sacrifice, you know. And then some artists, they're amazing. They sing, they play, and they dance at the same time. It's such a high, you know, art, and it's not appreciated. And the makeup you put for 1 hour, and the costume is uncomfortable and expensive to rent. It's 150,000. This is no, I'm sorry, this is wrong. So it has to be an artist and maestros. You know, my teacher, she's Nikita Tarini. She's maestro of Balinese dance. She dedicated herself to the traditional culture, and she get no support from government when Corona started, especially. And you know, a 76 years old woman who have Sangar, you know, the dance school, and she mostly making profit from teaching kids Balinese dance all her life, and she do programs on national television. You know, she promote traditional culture. She don't get anything. Yeah, they give like a surat, like thank you, you know, but they have to be supported, and not only people from EC, people from EC too, but like everyone. And this has to be popular for local people the most, because kids, they don't care. You know, 25 years old, the same Balinese, and I cannot dance Balinese dance. You know, it's just, it's where you connect with your roots. It's where you connect where you're coming from, and then you get in certain state. That's why, you know, dancers, for example, they go trance. It's important to keep it, because now it's a time of TikTok. It's just like I can't. People text me, thank you for not doing TikTok and doing Balinese dance.
Thank you so much, Miss Anna, because we have a short period of
Yes.
time. Yeah, maybe we can move to Mr. Charlie about
Yeah.
how you can respond, Pa Ari, about what he said before. If you have comments, thank you.
Oh, I think there's one point that Charlie said that I would like to comment. I think
Yeah.
access to vaccine. Right?
I'm sorry, before I interrupt, we only have two times for Miss Kadek and Mr. Charlie to respond for what Pa Ari said.
Yeah, okay.
After that, we're going to the question and answer session. Thank you.
Okay. Devi, can I add one point for before Charlie responds?
Sure.
Yeah, on the access of vaccine, I think we're growing to also knowledge and information, Charlie, that we have to vaccinate everyone, you know, the whole population, no matter what their nationality is. So I think the key now is to make sure supply is there, right? So if supply is sufficient, then we won't get any, you know, sensitive injustice issues, right? So that's the first thing we have to do to make sure we have enough supply for the whole population, and then I think you know, you would see the in the beginning of the vaccination campaign, the Bali penetration is not is so open actually, yeah, in terms of vaccinating expatriates or foreigners, but now I think there is a supply issue. So that's the biggest problem actually. Yeah. Yeah. So I give the floor to Charlie to comment now.
Yeah, thank you for that point, and I agree. The issue mostly is supply. What we've seen is, as you say, early on there was a lot of supply, and it was quite fairly easy even for foreigners to get access. And then when Delta variant hit, then it became very difficult because everyone was trying to get their shots. Then all of a sudden, and then now actually in the last week, there's been I guess donations from Japan and from Australia and so on. And so the supplies opened up a bit again, and people are able to get access again, which is fantastic. And you know, as I said, I'm actually very impressed overall with the rollout. I think it's been remarkably effective, and I think it's going to be a big part of the solution here. I think just the main thing is the paperwork requirements that make it quite difficult, and if that's something that's affecting Indonesians as well. I actually have in my chat group, which has almost 1,000 people in it now, and they're all the Indonesians are on there saying, I can't get access to it because I need the surat domisili, which I don't have, and so they keep getting turned away. And so I think these paperwork requirements, and compared to my brother who lives in America, he has his local vaccination site, and he says, you turn up, you don't even show any identification. You say, I want that vaccine, they just put it in your arm and you drive away. And so, of course, America has a lot more supply, and supply is a lot of the issue. But I think the fact that any foreigner can even turn up, or anyone who's a migrant, or even an illegal immigrant, or anything, anyone can turn up and get a vaccine. Because the virus doesn't discriminate. The virus infects everyone, and every person gets infected, spreads it to many other people. And so if you have a population of foreigners, particularly foreigners who are here on B211 visas, which there's many, many, much more, I think, than the government might realize, you have these pockets of people, and some of them, as you say, there is that, as you say from the survey, there's a percentage of them who don't believe in it, and kind of like this, but there's enough of them that who do want to step up and get vaccinated and be part of the solution. And for those people, every one of them who gets infected could infect their staff, could infect other people they come in contact with, and so on. And so it ends up being a pocket where the virus can spread more. And that's my main concern, is that because of the paperwork requirements, it could end up being difficult for both Indonesians and expats here. But thank you for responding to that, and I agree. It is. Supply is the main thing, and just getting more supply is I think the biggest challenge right now.
Yeah, I think I have I just have an idea. If you can support us, Charlie. Actually, one of the challenges in deciding how much supply that we have is to decide the numbers of recipients that we should cater. Right, so Charlie, data is an ongoing problem for Indonesia or developing countries like Indonesia. If you can help us in solving problems, in identifying how many people in Bali are foreigners, a pocket of people that they don't have IDs and they don't have local domicile letters, right? So they are not under the radar of civil or officials. I think that's also one of the solutions that we need to work on after this discussion. Right? So make sure if we find out there are 100,000, then we can order 100,000, right? The problem is we don't know how many thousands of them, right? Because they're not under the radar, you know what I mean, right? They're not in the civil office radar. So vaccination is based on the numbers of ID numbers, right?
Yeah, I'd be happy. I'll send you a direct message on Zoom here. So if you want to talk more about it afterwards to coordinate some of that stuff, I do have some ideas for how I can share some of that information that I've gathered from my community.
That's great. That's the main point of this discussion. We have to do it together.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Pa Charlie and Pa Ari. Maybe one suggestions, we can use IHAC. I heard this before. Maybe you can explain. I think IHAC can also be accessed for expat, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think about it, Pa Ari?
Yeah, so EHAC is accessible for foreigners, so that would be a possible solution. I think the difficulty there's a lot of foreigners here who don't have a NIC, and even some people who have KITAS but they don't have the SKTT or the NIC. So that makes it that's the thing that makes it difficult. But EHAC can be used. I've used it when I've gone to Jakarta and so on to register my location.
I see. All right, thank you so much, Pa Ari and Ms. Karikan, Mr. Charlie. That was a very good discussion. Now maybe we can move to the question and answer session. We have 2 sessions. Each session will have 3 questions, maximum for 3 minutes long. And also there is like a comment from our listener from Facebook. First one from Miss Brenda Richmond. She said that is wonderful, and let's not forget birth and breastfeeding, which is also in crisis because too many families choose cesarean birth and formula for most the wrong reasons. It is creating a weaker population generation by generation. And also Bali is amazing. From Georgiana, Bali is amazing, and so many local people have amazing talents such as stonemasons, silversmith, and woodworks, as well as farming.
Yeah.
Yes, and okay, maybe we can move to the question and answer. Is there anybody want to ask from Facebook or YouTube? Or maybe anyone here? You can raise your hand and I will unmute you. Okay, so I don't think there's nobody want to ask the question, yeah? Maybe Fitra? All right.
Hello? Yeah. Can you hear me, Devi?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Fitra. So, yeah, I have maybe a bit of opinion and also like a bit of questions. Yeah, but first of all, thank you for Pak Ari, for Charlie, and Kadik Anna for like interesting perspective. Like we can see how the dynamics is between. Well, I would say like there is like a quite different perspective between Kadik Anna and also Pak Charlie. But then like there's also like some opinions that kind of similar, you know. So yeah, and it's I would like to appreciate like both of your concern and your participation during this pandemic for the people in Bali, and like Pak Charlie with helping the peoples, and also Kadik Ana with concern about the children around Bali. And I think it's very it's very important for us, for the people in Bali, to highlight that people like or foreigners in general can also help and can also provide what I would say is like an example, you know, because like right now, like in the media, like there is a big portrayal of this bad, well, maybe like different negative image,
Which is true.
about the foreigners in Bali. So I think this is a very good perspective, and also it will provide, hopefully it will provide a different, especially different opinion like about what's currently happening, and also, perhaps my question will be for Pak Charlie and also Kadik Ana regarding like the economical situation of the people on Bali, because right now we are like in IDEP and also in the other organization are working towards the wash access, which is like hygiene, water, and everything. And I would like to know, like from both of your perspective, like what kind of priority or like involvement from the government that you would like to see? Like, is it more into the wash access, or like is it more into the economical access, or like perhaps in parallel? You know, like because right now, like I can see like from the people, like, oh yeah, we're trying to do everything, like the 3M, and then like wash our hands, and then I don't know, like physical distancing, and even now like in lockdown too. So I just like wondering like what you guys from the expat perspective, or foreigners in this case, about this situation. Yeah, thank you, Devi. Back to you.
Thank you, Fitra. Before our speaker can give answer, maybe we can hear another question from Miss Georgiana from Facebook. So she asked that what I'm hearing is healthy promotion, education, and investment in keeping Bali pure. What investments are made by Indonesian government for health promotion and arts, or does most support come from communities and volunteer services? Maybe this question is for Pa Arya. Okay, maybe over to you, Pa. Thank you.
Well, you want me to answer this last question first, or Charlie and Khalid to
Yeah.
answer Fitra's question?
Okay, oh sorry, maybe for Miss Anna and Mr. Charlie first, and then Pa Ari. Thank you.
I can jump in just with a quick thought. In regards to the government's, the question I believe, if I'm understanding it correctly, was what we would say the priority for the government's assistance to Balinese people should be, whether it's from these various programs or like economic assistance. My own opinion on this is that the economic assistance has to come first, because what I see around me is a lot of people who are still struggling economically, like a lot of local people who are here who are just having so much difficulty just getting by. It's difficult when you're thinking about basic survival to think about all of the other things, like, you know, I should be washing my hands more, I should be more physically distant, and so on. You do what you can to survive. And so my opinion on that is that has to come first. That the development for, and you know, there's many different ways that can happen. You know, whether it's food drives, or whether it's direct payments, or whether it's, you know, helping people to get access to jobs so they can actually earn money, and probably all of those things need to happen. But I think, in my opinion, that sort of development is crucial. So then you can free people's minds up from basic survival to thinking, okay, now how can I also, you know, wash my hands, be more, follow the guidelines about COVID and everything. When I see people breaking those rules, it's usually because they're just trying to survive. You know, they're just trying to get by, and it's hard to criticize someone for when their basic survival is in question.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Charlie. It's right, because the most important is in the head first. So if you don't have money, you don't have job, you are stressed. It's influence on your health, you know. And if you don't have money, you cannot buy food that supports your body. So first, yeah, you have to bring economic back. You have to allow people to make money, like when there was stopping people to sell nasi jingo on the street. Why not? You know, people just come, they buy and go. And there's nothing wrong with that. And people just try to make like 1,000 or 5,000 rice, you know, or something. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, understand, like a party, big, you know, crowded places, it's a different story. So yes, you have to keep economic going. Like I'm from Russia. In Russia, everybody, all the Corona time, almost all, they're working, and they fine, you know, and they try to learn to live with Corona. So yes, you're completely right. Yes, I agree on that. We have to let people work. We have to find the ways for them. That's the thing, you know. And like make it maybe different a little bit, but we have to keep it going, because people were happy too, and they were healthier from that. And of course, other things as well. And nicer if people will learn to how to eat healthier, you know. And very important is sick people and kids in villages that they never had any support. And right now, especially, it's really hard time for them because they need to buy some medication, and it's impossible. So yes, it's I think bringing economic back, it's more important than vaccinate everybody and stop this virus. You can't stop the virus. It's just we have to learn to live with it. You know, you can't stop it. It can go for 100 years. You cannot. You know, it's not enough like a 1 year to even develop the perfect vaccine. So just still, in the process. Yeah. Still live. Okay, Dewi?
Yes, thank you, Pak Charlie and Mbok Ana. Let's move to the second question to Pak Ari. Over to you, Pak.
Thank you, Devi. I think I learned the key words from Kadek Ana there. Live with the virus and coexist with the COVID-19. That's basically what WHO is saying. WHO has never recommend a complete shutdown of everything or total lockdown of all countries or the whole world, right? So I agree with Kadegana. People have to be able to earn their living, they be able to work and to travel. But the precondition is, this is what we ask help from IDEP, Kadegana, and Charlie. They have to be healthy. They must be healthy, right? If they go out to the market, they are healthy. They are tested negative. They're not flu. They're not cold. They're not dengue. They are not having dengue fever. They're not having typhoid, right? So I think what we like to see after the post-pandemic period, Kadekana, is more investment on basic health, yeah, and health education, right? So I know people would not be thinking correctly if they're hungry, if they don't have living. But if you're thinking from program point of view, you have to make sure they are healthy from babies, from the beginning, from inside the womb, when they are coming to the world, when they are breastfed, and when they are growing up as toddler. So basic health education and basic health system needs to be there. So whenever any crisis comes, either next pandemic or next plague or next disaster, they make sure they protect themselves. I mean, so that's what happened with PPKM actually. We don't know how healthy people are because we don't know the map. That's why testing is being extended, right? To make sure we know the map. And if we can isolate the people and then we treat and we cure them, people who are not sick actually are allowed to go around, right, and earn their living, right? So that's, I guess, the direction that we would like to go. More basic health services provided and basic health education.
Emotional health is really important, not only physical. Emotional health is number one.
Yes. So actually, more investment. So if we can if we can help have your support, let's say to voice out saying that we've learned during the pandemic that investment in buildings or 7-star hotels are not helping us during pandemic. But if we get more money to invest in basic health education, right? Emotional health education or basic health services, you got clinics everywhere, it's easy to go and it's free, medication is affordable, right? It will help us during the next pandemic, if we have to live with any virus, right? Not only COVID-19, right? Right, so I think your voice will be strong enough to add to that point, saying that, let's think about it. Let's think about how we reinvest our money in Bali, right? If we get more healthy people, they can go around and they can earn more money, and we get healthy artists, right? They should be compensated because they will be more productive, right? And there should be a system to make sure they are healthy, right? So that's on what living or in coexistence with the virus means for us in the UN, right? So on the assistance to the economy again, Uh, Unfortunately, Charlie, we know that Indonesia is not, the economy is not heavily dependent on government spending, right? It is actually dependent on household consumption, right? 50% of them. So again, if you would like to help us, make sure we start educating people to consume healthy products, healthy information, right? Healthy source of knowledge, right? Because the economy in Indonesia is running because household consumption. If you see right now, we just heard that we achieved 7.07% of economic growth year on year. That is because the in the end of December last year, we opened up the activities, right? People are actually traveling around in December to Idul Fitri, right, until April, right? So economies are growing because people are spending. They travel to Bali. You've seen more Surabaya people in Bali. You've seen Jakarta people in Bali, right? So the challenge is not only learn, we have to make sure those people still spend money, but they have to be healthy so they don't infect Balinese people. Because Bali, back in January or February, it's only 87% confirmed cases. 87, 101, under 100 confirmed cases. And now we are seeing 1,300 plus. I don't want to blame anyone, but it must be something related with travels from outside Bali, right? So if travels are healthy, right, and the people in Bali are healthy, I think the economy will grow because we don't have to have this PPKM at all.
A question: how is that happened that Jakarta people, because they was coming to Bali because they have money, brought some corona in here? If everybody could going on the car, they go on a ferry, right? So they have to do the test for corona. So if they have corona, they cannot go. So how is that happen that people travel and doing tests and they still bring a corona here?
But we don't know whether it's Jakarta people, Surabaya people, or
Sorry, Pak Ari.
Kalimantan, Makassar, right? But again, testing is not massive enough.
Sorry, Pak Ari, I have to cut.
The pre-requirement to travel at that time is not a high standard enough, right?
Okay, sorry, Pak Ari, I have to cut.
Yeah, okay.
We have another one last question from Ibu Brenda. It's for Pak Ari. How to address vaccination hesitancy in a way that is reassuring? There are too many stories that the local levels of bad side effects and even numerous deaths post-vaccination, which I know are not reported to KIPI website because hardly anyone knows that it even exists.
KIPI.
Yeah, KIPI. Many people are scared. How can this be better addressed? Thank you.
Sekalian closing statement.
And also after this question, after Pari answered the question, we have come to the end of this webinar. So I asked Pak Ari, Ms. Anna, and Mr. Charlie to have a closing statement. And also we have Pak Rangga again, or Pak Awal as a director of IDEP Foundation to have a closing statement as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Devi. So first of all, I think we are glad to see that vaccine acceptance in Bali is one of the highest, and across Indonesia, actually, almost all polls are showing that between 70% or 80% of Indonesians are pro-vaccine. I mean, they are willing to accept vaccine, right? So in terms of after effect, IFIs and KIPI, I think we need to do two things, right? First, to inform all those people who got vaccinated that they actually have two contact numbers on their vaccine certificates. Right? First, the doctor who gave the shot, there is the number in the letter and the vaccination card. And second, actually, there is a hotline, 119 extension 9, to report anything that happens after vaccine. And there is also a local committee on KIPI, Komda KIPI. Right. Or you simply go to Puskesmas to report what is happening to you. And I think there is a way for the Puskesmas to actually have direct contact to Minister of Health through a website where they can report KIPIs in their area. So we are concerned about KIPIs not only because we need to make sure everyone is safe, but we need to make sure that the vaccine is working. Because we need to know how many KIPIs are there. We cannot turn our blind eye on them because we need to know. If it's 10, if it's 100, if it's 1,000, because it can measure the effectiveness or the side effects of the vaccine, right? So it's not something we neglect, right? Vaccine acceptance and KIPIs are in the same package of vaccination program. I think, what's the next question?
There's no
Okay,
questions.
so that's.
Let's just move forward.
I think what we need again is to make sure everyone is also proactive. Proactive in making sure they report, they register themselves to get vaccinated, and then they follow the steps. Right, there is observation period after you get shots. And then you contact local health officials if something happens to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Pak Ari. Maybe Pak Ari can also give closing statement because now we have arrived to the end of this webinar. So before we say goodbye, I'd love to hear Pak Ari and Ms. Kadek and Pak Charlie to have a closing statement. Thank you.
I don't want to close this session actually, but this should be the first discussion. I think I have an idea. Kadek Ana, please, if you are willing to support us, basic health promotion is needed, right? To tell people how to protect yourself from COVID-19, and also not to build trust, not to, consume unhealthy food, right? So we should think of a way of involving you in health promotion campaign, right? Not only to protect from ourselves, our bodies from COVID-19, but other serious threats that actually are still around, right? And then Charlie, again, if you can help us in identifying people, pockets of people, groups of people, not only to have access to vaccine, but also access to to food, to source of income, to government assistance. Again, I have to tell you, Charlie, the assistance is there. If you look at the state budget, there is. But the problem is how to deliver this to the specific person who really needs it. That's the biggest challenge of the system, right? So that's my closing statement from me is we need your help. Let's do this together. But the smallest act we can do will change how Bali looks like in the future. Back to you, Devi. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Ari. Next, we have Ms. Kadek Ana to have the last closing statement, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I know we can collaborate. We just have to do in what we're the best. And to everyone, And the message, like if you want to change something, you have to start from yourself. You have to start from your house. So, and then it's gonna spread. So guys, let's start from ourselves, please. And I just want to say how much I love Indonesian people. So that's why it's from other side, my heart is really hurt. So like I'm crying every day on the road, okay, and what I'm seeing. So don't break my heart. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Ms. Kadek Anna. Next, Pak Charlie. Over to you, Pak.
Yeah, I'd also just like to say thank you for inviting me to speak and for listening to what the expats here have to say. And all I can say is to echo exactly what Kadek Anna says. My love for this place and love for the people here is just runs so deep. And from my side, anything that I can do to help, I will do, because it's very important to me to see this beautiful island and this beautiful chain of islands flourish and thrive, and people return to being happy and healthy again, and on every level, on every level. And it's so that's my pledge. Is what I've been doing this period as much as I can, is to stay positive and to help people wherever I can. And so I'll double down on that now and just say that I'll continue to do that. And if there's anything that I can collaborate or help with, I will give 100% to it.
Thank you, Pak Charlie. Okay, next we have Pak Awal as our director from IDEP Foundation. Hello, Pak Awal.
Yes. Hello, thank you everyone. I'm sorry maybe I'm late to join with this job, but I still heard, I still hear, I still monitor the spelling with Facebook and the other Okay, thank you. I would like to thanks to all being this here, the participants, the forum. Kadek Anna and Charlie, thank you very much for joining with us. So I think this only not only for this day. I would like to IDEP want to we going to get together. We're going how to prepare to respond this pandemic with IDEP. The last year, we only the local people we going together and doing with the other NGO to how to live the people in the Bali, Pacific Bali, local Bali, how to survive, how to help themselves, how the people to tourists and the local wisdom, the local how to call the agriculture and back to basics. And I hope this discussion will make it better to respond how to pandemic we can respond to more specifically, and how to we can together to how the good idea to what the survey the survey the how to get together to respond the pandemic. I'm sorry, I'm not good English, but this is I am. Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, thank you all, Pak Ari, thank you for this session. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Om Santi Santi Om.
Thank you so much, Pak Awal. To inform you that we are still opening the survey form that is in the chat box. Maybe if you guys haven't filled the form, you can fill it before October. We have 20 souvenirs that can we give randomly for the chosen one. So maybe you can get merchandise from us. Also, if you're curious about IDEP Foundation and its programs, you can check our website through www.idepfoundation.org or email us at info@idepfoundation.org. Alright, finally, many thanks for all speakers and responder. I thank you all the participants as well who have been here as a part of this evening session. And I hope these webinars would contribute to the COVID-19 response in Bali. Thank you for me as well. And don't forget we have one session, one photo session for documentation. Maybe you guys, maybe you guys can turn on your video. All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so
Goodbye.
much. Kadang-kadang matur sukses. Thank you, mate.
Semuanya.
Yeah.
Sehat aja ya.
Sama-sama, sehat semua.
Baru ya, kadang-kadang ya. Kita sekarang di Bali ya, bareng-bareng. Oke, kadang-kadang cari